Okay, so sometimes I have students who want to do something with curved text, okay, like I've done here with the face of this clock or in this dial here with numbers. Um, it's unfortunate that there's not, to my knowledge, an easy way to do that in LibreCAD. I don't think there's a bend text tool, at least not that I'm aware of. I'm not an expert. I just like to use it. It's free, it's powerful, and it doesn't require the internet to be working at the same time. But enough being said, let me show you how I did this. It's really not hard. It's a couple of steps. It's really pretty easy. So I'm going to go ahead and create a new sketch. And I'm going to start off by drawing a circle. And I think I'll put my snap on grid. I'll make it 200 millimeters in diameter. So I need a 100 millimeter radius. And for those of you who missed what I just did, I just typed 100 and hit enter. That actually automatically put it over here in the command line, and now I've got a 200 millimeter circle. Now the next thing I'm going to do is create a line. I think I want to have my reference points. I'm going to put my numbers about 85 millimeters out. So it gives me 15 on either end. So I could put a number as big as 30 if I squeezed it in there, but something like 20 might look real good. So to do that, I'm going to choose this tool here, and I'm going to put an angle. And what I want to do is, you can see I've already played with it, I want to make sure the length is the right length, 85, and then I can start off with my angle. I'll start it at 0. And let me put my snaps on center. That way it'll just snap right there. And if I click, you probably can't really see it right now so well, but there is an 85 millimeter line right on the axes. A little bit easier when I do a 30. Click, and then I'll do a 60, and then click, and then I'll do a 90. Alright, and in fact I think I'm going to pause it because you probably don't really have to watch me do it all, and I'll be back in a second. Okay, so now you can see I have my reference lines. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new layer. I'm going to have my numbers on a separate layer, and I'll call it like clock face, or just face, I guess. And I'm going to use yellow, I think, because it stands out real well in video, and say OK. So now I'm going to be working with this layer right here, okay, the yellow layer. So I'm going to go up now, and I'm going to choose a text. This is multi-line, M text. This is regular text. And what I'm going to do is, you can see I've already been playing with it a little bit. I'm going to type in a 12. I'm going to set my height at 20. That should give me at least 5 on either side, okay, because I was at 85 for the length of my line. I actually have 100, so it's 15 from the edge. So if I make my letters 20, that should give me a good fit. And this is important. Choose the alignment, choose center, because you want it to snap right to center. And then say OK. Now I want to turn off my center snap here, and I probably want to go to endpoint, and it should snap right there. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and do another text. And once I've done one, all right, by the way, if it doesn't show up, what you need to do is you need to go up to View and check your draft. Make sure you're setting the right settings. Okay? But once I've done one, if I right-click, text should be easily available. It'll save all your most recent things by right-clicking. And I'm going to do an 11, and then click it, and then I'll do a 10. I think you guys got the idea. Let me do one more, and then I'll pause it, and I'll fill in my dial. Okay, let me pause this, and I'll put in the rest of these digits. Okay, so here you see I've got my clock. I think I'm going to move this to the face layer, the yellow layer, real quick. To do that, I'm going to highlight it. I'm going to click here. I'm going to go to Attributes, and I am going to move it to the face layer and say OK. And now you can see if I just turn off this, there's our clock face without rotated numbers, but we still have a nice orientation. This is great. My clock, actually, the face is actually going to be rotating, so I want to have my numbers rotated. To do that, I'll turn this back on for our reference. What I want to do is I want to select, for example, this 1, and then I want to go here, and I want to rotate, and then it's going to ask you to choose a reference point. I'm going to want to choose the center. This is where I'm going to rotate it on, and I'm going to keep my snap on end point. Okay, so I'm going to use that as my reference point, and then I can choose some other point. I'll choose the 12. Now what I like to do is get it kind of close. Okay, I should be able to figure this out exactly, but you'll have a chance right here, because what I can do is I can say, oh wait, I gotta rotate this 330 degrees. Remember, it's going to be in increments of 30, and voila, now I've got that perfect. So I go here, and I'm going to right click. So rotate was one of the last things that I did. I'm going to choose that as my reference point. I'll choose the 12 as my turn point, and I'm going to click, and then right here I'm going to make this 300. Okay, and then this one I'm going to go on down. So this was 330, this is 300, so you can kind of get the idea here. I'm going to click it, I'm going to rotate, I'm going to click my rotation point, and I can choose my reference point, and then I rotate it, and then I set it at, let's see, that was 300, that was with 330, 300, so that makes this 270. Okay, so I'm going to pause this, and I'll go ahead and continue that logic all the way around. Give me a moment. Okay, so now I've done my complete rotation here. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of my reference lines. I'll just delete those. And then I'll bring back my face. And then the other thing we need to do is, if we try to import, actually let me show you what happens. I'm going to save as, and I'll call this demo phase 2. Replace it. So if I take this into something like Lightburn, already works, it's going to import, and you'll see letters, although the color I should probably change for this. It's going to be kind of pale. But you can see they're not script font. Okay, well, here, I'll just select this and make it easier for you to see. Okay, the font is not script. Okay, we've lost all our detail. What we want to do is we want to go back over to LibreCAD. We want to select all of it, and then what we need to do is go here and then explode it. Okay, so now if I save it and I move it into Lightburn, and let's highlight everything and make it black so we can see it easier. Now you can see that I've got my script back, and I can do whatever I need to with RDWorks or with Lightburn. So hopefully that was useful, and as usual, I'll see you again shortly.